So, conversation of the day, and take this one to your liberal friends, ask them about it, see what they have to say about it. So I'm listening to a podcast this morning. It's an entertainment podcast. They talk about movies and TV shows and the latest movie trailers and what's going on in Hollywood and that kind of thing. So they start talking about the latest individual to get swept up in all this sexual assault, sexual abuse stuff going on in Hollywood right now. And it's the guy who runs Pixar, or used to run Pixar, because he's now stepped down because of all this stuff. And the way they're talking about him in this situation just really enforces the fact that these liberal elitists, these Hollywood libtards, and the people that follow them are just really, really hardcore hypocritical douchebags, okay? Now, if even half of the accusations that are spreading through Hollywood right now are true, then there's a very real and systemic problem within Hollywood of this type of behavior, and not just of the behavior itself, but the cover-up of this behavior. And not covering up by the people who took part in the behavior, but other people stepping in to pay people off and keep people quiet and cover up the behavior of others. There's a very real systemic problem within Hollywood with this type of stuff going on. And the way they're talking about this guy in particular, and just across the board, everybody who's been caught up in these scandals, is they're basically saying, hey, it's such a shame that this happens because, you know, thousands and thousands of people work on these movies, not just these single individuals. And, you know, we can't start hating on Pixar or just Hollywood in general because of the actions of just a handful of individuals. You know, comparatively speaking, it's not a lot of people that are doing this or helping to be a part of it or covering it up or anything. It's just a few individuals. It's just a few actors or directors or producers or whoever, right? We can't let that affect how we feel about Hollywood in general or Pixar and all the good they bring into our lives, all the joy that they bring into our lives with their great and wonderful films, right? And I'm thinking to myself, where were these people with that attitude about, I don't know, 10, 15 years ago during the Catholic Church scandal? Where were these people then saying, you know what, it's just a few individuals within the church that are taking part in this horrible thing and helping to cover it up, but, you know, we can't let this destroy all the good that the Catholic Church has done, how it's been such a good influence in so many people's lives, or how it's helped people through charity or whatever else. Where were these people then saying that about the Catholic Church? Well, of course, they were nowhere to be found, except they were there to be found, but they just weren't saying that. They were basically using the situation to try and burn the Catholic Church to the ground. Why? Because they hate organized religion and they hate the Catholic Church specifically. It's just something that's just so abhorrent to the liberal ideology, especially the Hollywood elitists, the liberal elitists, and the people that follow them in those circles. They absolutely hate the idea of organized religion. So they took every opportunity they could during this period of time to try and do as much damage to the Catholic Church as possible. I remember seeing little political cartoons that basically implied that the Pope was molesting young boys. I mean, that's how far they took it when that stuff was happening. But when it happens to them, when it happens in their industry, something they care about, of course, it's just a few individuals. It's not a systemic problem. No, it's something that we can handle. We can't let this taint the way we look at the movies that these people have made, because it's more than just one individual, right? Like, it's such hypocritical BS across the board. I mean, it's absolutely 100% ridiculous. And look, I'm not a religious person. I honestly don't care at all about the Catholic Church. But I also don't care about Hollywood and those elitist douchebags. It's just funny to sit back and look at the oozing, steaming liberal hypocrisy just dripping off of these assholes when a situation like this pops up, because it is a very ridiculously similar situation. You have two organizations or industries where bad things were happening to people, that powerful people in those organizations and industries were taking advantage of weaker people within those organizations or industries, and then others were helping them to cover it up. It's almost identical in nature, and yet they act two completely different ways about it. It really just comes down to prove exactly how hypocritical these liberal elitist Hollywood libtard douchebags really are.